All right, guys, this week we're going to talk about critical reading. It's going to be really important that you follow along on your guided notes sheet because this week you're getting a lot of new vocabulary, and it's going to be really important that you write down what it means because you're going to have to study it, because if you don't know what the word means, you're not going to be able to apply that. But first, we're going to look at separating facts from opinions. So, a fact is information that can be proved true through objective evidence. The evidence can be physical proof or spoken or written testimony of a witness. However, physical proof is going to be better evidence because spoken or written testimony of witnesses can be manipulated. You'll learn about that in your psychology class. So here's a statement that contains several facts. They can be checked for accuracy and thus proven true. Abraham Lincoln, whose nickname was Honest Abe, had no formal education or religion. He was President of the United States from 1861 to 1865 at a salary of $25,000 a year. Everything in that can be looked up in historical documents, so they're all facts. An opinion, on the other hand, is a belief, a judgment, or a conclusion that cannot be objectively proved true. As a result, it's open to question or interpretation. Here's an example of an opinion statement. With the exception of only George Washington, Abraham Lincoln was the greatest leader our country has ever had. This is not something you can look up in a textbook and objectively say is a fact. Therefore, it is an opinion. Some people might agree with this statement, but others won't. There's no way to prove it definitively. That makes it an opinion. The word greatest is our clue here that this is an opinion. This is a value word, and we use those to express value judgments. Any value judgment is going to be an opinion. So by their very nature, these words represent opinions, not facts. So 5 points I want you to remember about fact versus opinion. Statements of fact may be found untrue. Facts can turn out to be errors instead of facts. For example, for a long time, it was considered to be a fact that the earth was flat. However, that was not a fact. That was an error. Therefore, it's not a fact anymore. Number 2, we talked about this earlier. Value words, ones that contain judgment, often represent opinions. And these are value words here on your screen. Best, worst, better, worse, great, terrible, lovely, disgusting, beautiful, bad, good, and wonderful. All of those are value words. You're putting value on something. Therefore, you're giving your opinion about it. They're subjective, not objective. Subjective means it's a matter of opinion and taste. Objective means it's neutral and factual. So, for example, it's raining outside could be a fact. That's an objective statement. The statement, the weather is bad, is subjective. It's an opinion because it's an evaluation of reality. You're saying the weather is bad because you don't like it when it rains. But someone who likes rain might actually think it's great weather because they need to water their crops. The words should and ought to also often signal opinions. These words introduce what some people think should or ought to be done, and other people might disagree with them. For example, adults who molest young children ought to be put to death, or women with children should not run for public office. Both of these are opinion statements. They're what people think should or ought to be done, not what everyone thinks. Also, don't mistake widely held opinions for facts. Just because most people think something doesn't necessarily make it a fact. An ad may claim that an automobile is the most economical car on the road today, and at first that seems like a fact, but you have to think about what it means to be economical. If the car offers the most miles per gallon, but the worst record for expensive repairs, you might not agree that it's economical. If you have questions about that one, come talk to Ms. McClellan about her Honda Civic Hybrid. Much of what we read in here is a mixture of fact and opinion. They get mixed up together, so it's hard to distinguish which is which. It's our job to draw on existing fact and opinion to arrive at an informed opinion. It is our job to be informed citizens and make informed opinions about things. Life is complicated, and sometimes you can't separate fact and opinion. It's hard. And so you have to do the best you can to get the most information you can from the widest variety of sources that you can in order to figure out what the facts are and make the best informed opinion possible. Textbook authors generally try to be as factual as possible. Essays, editorials, political speeches, advertisements, they all contain facts, but those facts are carefully selected to back up the author's opinion. So we have to read between the lines here. So which statement below is a fact? Which is opinion? Which is fact and opinion?